What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Tia Things back with another book recommendation slash review slash all spoilers video. Today I am back. I've been a little off the grid, haven't been feeling great. It's been just a whirlwind of a couple weeks. So I am back with a lot to say. Today's book review is going to be about another extremely high rated book. 2023 is like off the charts with the amazing books. I think I have a record number of like 9 on 10 and like 10 on 10 books, and it's only still like the beginning first half of the year. So it's definitely gonna be a really fun year. I'm really excited for this video because I have been absolutely enamored by this book. I've been obsessed with this book. It's actually a series. And there's just a lot to dive into. I've been living in this world while I was sick. So definitely bear with me. I'm gonna be very into this video. First of all, the book we're talking about today is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I do have to say, first and foremost, before we get into anything else, and don't skip this part, you absolutely need to read the trigger warnings. This is a book that hits very hard. It hurts to read. It like will get its claws in your soul. It's one of those books that you just need to know what happens, but it's definitely not a fairy tale story. There is a lot of trigger warnings, so make sure you look into them before reading not just the first book, but the entire series. It's very heavy, but so good. This video will include spoilers. I'm not sure yet how much. You kind of know me. I just go with the flow, but there will definitely be spoilers because I want to go all in. So Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh is the first book of the Boys of Tommen series. And so it really follows the main character Shannon as she goes through not only a series of difficult events prior to the book even starting. She's bullied ongoing pretty much her whole childhood, her whole life. And now she's going into a new school, private school that her mom got her into, hoping that it'll be like a fresh start. So you don't know all the details. You kind of learn them as you go. The bullying facts they give from the start. And essentially on her very first day, she meets Johnny Kavanaugh, the love of our lives. He's the best. He basically becomes not only one of her best friends and eventually more, but like her protector, and he helps her not only like make friends at the school by taking her into his group of friends, but just overall, really, he is like such an important character in these books, not just for Shannon, but for so many other characters, as you'll see. So the book really follows Shannon for the first 2 books of the series. And those 2 books follow Shannon in her personal life, her relationship with Johnny, her family life, her school life, everything. So essentially, Johnny knows something's up. He kind of associates it with the past bullying, but there's much more to it, which I'm about to dive into. Shannon's family situation and home situation is really difficult. Her dad is extremely abusive and alcoholic. Her mom is like sometimes there, sometimes not. She and her brothers are just trying to get through the day, basically. Things start to unravel when Johnny sees marks on her, including like a handprint on her neck and just bruising everywhere. And basically the character we all love is Shannon's brother, Joey. We love him. He comes to her defense, he protects her, he tries to get in the way of the dad, which obviously isn't anyone's job, but he's taken it on as the older brother. And so he has that older brother best friend thing that we just love, and he's trying really hard, but you know that Joey's fighting his own demons. You don't really get too much of an inside look into that, but you meet Joey's girlfriend, Eva, and you just are knowing that there's a lot of depth happening there that you're not into in this book. Stay tuned. So we dive into Shannon's life. The book and the story continue over the first 2 books of the series. We have Johnny and Shannon's love story, but more than that, Shannon's life, really, which ends up actually being in jeopardy, as you will see in the second book. She gets beaten so badly that she's hospitalized, and that's when everything kind of comes to light. That's when solutions come to light. But there are reasons why this is never reported. There is a past there, a history with Child Protective Services that kind of scarred the family. So there's a lot of depth there. And I think that this is a really important story because it's very real for a lot of people. You don't want to call CPS because you don't know what situation you're gonna be put into there, but you know you have to do something, but what's the answer? And you just don't know. So it's a really deep, interesting story. I do have to say a lot of it is hard to read because these characters are, first of all, Chloe Walsh like wrote everything so well. You're so connected. You want to help them. You want to know that they get help. And you just have to watch the very slow burning process of them finally getting that help in the long-term process. So book 1 and 2 follow Johnny and Shannon, and a lot of it focuses on the results for Shannon and Johnny and how that ends up being a big solution to a lot of the at-home problems. But book 3 and 4 follow Joey, our brother who we love, and his girlfriend Eva and his story. So during book 1 and 2, Joey's there as a very significant character, always saving his sister whenever he can, fighting his own demons, but you don't know what those demons are. You don't really get an inside look. They mention drug use. Again, trigger warning, they mention a lot of items. So you just don't know. They're kind of sporadically mentioned in there, and there's definitely more going on. I have to say, spoiler alert, when I read book 2, there is a scene where Joey's kind of deciding that he can't do this anymore and he wants to run away, and his girlfriend is like begging him to stay. And I had the thought there of like, what is she saying? Why is she begging so hard? She's almost making it seem like she's pregnant, which you do find out in book 3 and 4 that she is, and he was aware, and basically on top of all of the other responsibilities of protecting his siblings, fighting for his mom and fighting his dad and everything else in his drug use issues, he also has a pregnant girlfriend who he is trying to help and be there for, but it's just not that simple. So what I really liked is book 1 and 2 end with Joey going off to rehab. You know that he's gonna go off to rehab. But book 3 and 4 actually go backwards to the first day that Joey and his girlfriend met, which was way before Shannon's story even starts, technically speaking. So you're going way back before book 1 and 2, and it slowly comes back through all of the important times that are in book 1 and 2. You see from Joey's perspective, from his relationship perspective, all the additional things he had going on that no one even knew about while trying to also fight this demon at home. So there's just a lot of layers. I would definitely say book 3 and 4 were a little slower, but just, oh, so good. You are so ingrained in this story, you can't get out. Like, it was in my soul. I needed to finish the books immediately. I needed to know that they get out, that they're okay. I needed to know what happens. It's just so good. So here's for the spoilers. Essentially, Johnny's family, his parents who are amazing, end up taking in the kids, not just Joey and Shannon, but their younger siblings as well. I'm not gonna spoil what happens with the parents because that is just its own traumatizing moment. You guys need to read that for yourselves. Nothing I can say can describe it as well as Chloe Walsh wrote it. But I will say that the mother does end up saving her children at the end of the day. Something she should have done a long time ago, but she finally does. And it costs something way more valuable. So essentially that is story 1 and 2, and where it ends is where Johnny's family is taking in Shannon, Joey, and their siblings, who are so great. I love how they just pop them in with their personalities. Then book 3 and 4 brings us back to when Joey and Effa met, and just their whole relationship, which is way deeper than anyone knows in book 1 and 2. Their life, their connection, his connection to her family, how they got pregnant, all these things, their ups, their downs, his drug abuse issues, and how he's trying so hard to work on himself, but just life keeps pounding him down. And finally, him going to rehab and the outcome of that, the outcome of their pregnancy, all of that. So you do get, at the end, a full rounded story. It's just that book 3 and 4 are a little bit slower because of the time flashbacks and flash forwards. But I'm telling you, once you read book 1 and 2, you will be sucked into this world. Not even book 2, just book 1. Once you read book 1, 3 chapters, you're sucked into this world. and you need to know how it's gonna go. So I highly recommend reading Binding 13, Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. Like 10 on 10 read. I could not put it down. I finished it, then I couldn't sleep because I was just thinking about it. It was so good. Like for a book to affect you that much, nothing's affected me this much since like It Ends With Us, I think is the only like direct comparison I have of like how much it just broke your heart, but you needed to keep reading to know what was gonna happen. So cannot recommend it enough. I do have to say, unfortunately, they are not free on Kindle Unlimited. I wish they were. That's why it took me so long to read them. I've been seeing them pop up on my recommended for so long, but I just cannot recommend enough spending the money and buying the series, because you guys, this is a world you need to jump into. Okay, that's Tia Things with another book review recommendation. I'll be back soon with another video.